You still have a lot at all the schools.
Well, ninth and here, sometimes in the middle school.
All right, page 3 on your 11.1 worksheet. Everybody remembers how to use a distributive property? Problems 22 through 24. Yeah, you just distribute over the parentheses and use multiplication. So you get 2 times 4x is 8x minus 14. Good. The reason why they're showing you this now is because what we're doing is actually... Is your phone out? Put your phone away. Put your phone away. Because you're playing video games, aren't you? Yes, you are. You're watching videos, you're looking at pictures, you're on the internet or something. I know how students act to that stuff, and you're acting like you're doing that. Okay, so what we're doing is we're actually going the other way by taking out the greatest common factor. Okay, for instance, finding the greatest common factor, which we did yesterday, the first thing we did was we looked at the numbers, right? 15, 30, and 90. And we found the factors for each one of those. So for 15, 1 and 15, 3 and 5, that's it, right? For 30, 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6, okay, and 90. Now don't talk all at once, I can't, hear you all. So 2 and 45, 3 and 30, see 4 go into that? Nope, 4 doesn't go in that. 5 and 18, right? 6 and 15. I'm pretty sure that's it. Oh no, we got 9 and 10. Okay, what's my highest one? 15. Okay, I have a 15 and 15. I have a 15 and 30. And I have a 15 and 90. So my greatest common factor so far, I'm going to start with 15. Okay, let's look at the variables. How many m's do I have in this term? 1. How many m's do I have here? 3 and 3 m's. So the most I can take out is 1 of the m's. And that's it, because this term doesn't have any n's. So my greatest common factor, 15m. And that was pretty much all we did yesterday. We were multiplying. We reviewed some multiplying of binomial times a binomial. Ian, are you watching videos?
No.
What are you doing?
Why are you doing it?
I think he is actually on Classroom. What are you doing, Esco?
I'm doing engineering.
Yeah, but what about Algebra 1?
I'm going to do it now.
Why don't you do Ingenuity during Ingenuity time and Algebra during Algebra time? Well, why don't you ask me to take a book home? I'll send you a book home, a Chromebook, and you can catch up. Yeah? I'll let you take a Chromebook home. So let's look at today's 11.2. Okay, switch worksheets just for a minute. 11.2, the one you picked up as you walked into the room, on the desk next to Nick. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to take out the greatest common factor, but this time we're going to do it instead of having a comma between the terms. We're just going to have a plus or minus sign. So we're going to undistribute the problems. I know that's not a mathematical term, but it's a really good descriptive. Distribute, we multiply the term, multiply over the parenthesis, right? 2x squared plus 6. Well, undistributing or taking out the greatest common factor, we're going to divide each term by the common factor. So, first thing we have to do is take out the greatest common factor. Yeah, you should be able to, after this point, you should be starting to look at the two numbers and, you know, it should be coming to you some common factors. This one's pretty easy. Okay? 3 and 15, the greatest common factor is 3. Now, how many x's can I take out of each term? 1x. Okay. Now what I'm actually doing here is I'm dividing, because they were multiplied at one time, so now I'm dividing each term to undo the multiplication. So I'm taking 3x squared, and I'm dividing it by 3x. What does that give me? From unit 7 on exponents, and yeah, it gives you x, right? Because the 3's cancel, one of the x's cancel, it gives me x to the first over 1, or just x. My minus sign doesn't change. Now, the next one, I'm taking 15x and I'm dividing it by 3x. What does that give me? Yeah, 5. The x's cancel, right? They cancel completely. 3 goes into 15 5 times. So I get 5. Yeah, he just decided to show up yesterday for the first time. Yeah, he's not going to do it. Yeah, I feel sorry for him too. Although we were talking about a career choice yesterday. Don't you want to be a cop or something? No? Oh, you were playing around. You weren't serious? Oh, I thought you were serious. Well, yeah. A diesel mechanic. Oh, you have no idea how much math you're going to need for that, do you?
But that's a good choice. But not a good choice.
I want to be a farmer.
A farmer?
Yeah.
Do you know how much one of those combines cost? Just one combine. One piece of farming equipment. $250,000 just for the smallest one. Yeah. Yeah, most farmers inherit their land from somebody, and that's how a lot of these huge farms started. Or corporations come in. How do you go from farmer to CIA?
I went from McDonald's to Walmart.
Well, McDonald's is not a bad start. It really isn't. All right, so my answer, 3x times the quantity x minus 5. Make sense? Make sense? Let's try... Let's try number 11. Okay. What's the largest common factor in the numbers? I'm looking at 3 and 27. 3, right? Okay, what about the x's? How many x's can I take out of each term at the same time? One of them, right? So x to the first. So 3x squared, I'm dividing it by 3x. How many x's do I have left? 1. Plus 27 divided by 3 is 9. My x's cancel, so there I'm done. Now, if you don't know if you did it right, what can you do? Multiply it out. Distribute it. 3 times x, 3x squared. 3x times 9, 27x. Okay. Now, can you do one with 3 terms? How about 14? Okay, I'm looking at the numbers 3, 7, and 1. Don't forget, if there's not a coefficient there, there's a 1. Yeah, the only thing I can take out is a 1. I may not even need it. How many m's can I take out of each term? 1 m. So m to the first. Okay, 3m cubed divided by 1m leaves me with, well, first of all, 3 divided by 1 is 3. M cubed divided by m, yeah, it leaves me with 2 m's left. Minus 7 divided by 1 is 7. M squared divided by 1m, I'm taking one of the m's away. So it leaves me with one of the m's. And 1m divided by 1m, careful. Anything divided by itself is 1. Good, Virginia. Anything divided by itself is 1. 8 divided by 8 is 1. M divided by m is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. Okay? That's my answer. How about 13? Right next to it. Let's look at the numbers. What can I take out of both 32 and 24? The highest. You might have to do your factor thing. 32. 1 and 32. 2 and 16. 3, 4, and 8. And 24. 1 and 24. 2 and 12. 3 and 8. And 4 and 6, right? What's the highest factor for both? See, here's 2's, here's 4's, here's 8. Looks like 8, right? Okay. How many v's can I take out of both at the same time? One of them. Because this has 2 v's and that has 1 v, so I can take one of the v's out. What about that negative sign? Standard form, we usually want the negative sign outside the parentheses if we can. At this point, I'm not going to be, worried about it at this point. We will when we get into harder factoring problems. I could take the negative sign out, okay, just so that my first term is positive. So negative 32 divided by negative 8 is positive 4. If you didn't want to take the negative out, that's fine too. V squared divided by V, V to the first. Now, I happened to take my negative out, so what's it going to do to this sign? It's going to make it positive, yeah. Okay, 24 divided by 8, 3, and I took out the v. So there's my answer. Negative 8v times the quantity, 4v plus 3. Now, if you didn't take the negative sign out, you would have 8v times negative 4v minus 3. You could have left the minus sign in. At this point, either one. But eventually, you're going to have to take the negative sign out. Are you good? Are you with me? Are you done listening to me? For those of you who are listening. Do you think you can do the worksheets now? I'll put a quiz on mine. I'll call it 10-1 or 11-1 and 11-2, and we'll just do that tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
So do pages 3 and 4 on this packet, 11-1, and finish pages 1 and 2 on 11-2. That'll probably be. I might even take it through tomorrow. Okay?